Happy Friday, everybody, and another chilly night for us as we take a live look from our SkyTrack downtown camera. Thankfully, it is a quiet night, and any snow we've been talking about over the last 2-3 weeks almost fully gone and melted. Talking about looking forward to a pretty nice start to our Valentine's Day, but beware that there will be the need to probably get some shelter and stay dry a little later in the night. So hopefully that's something you all can look forward to for tomorrow, as we're going to wrap up this Friday night and this time of the day, starting your weekend, breaking down some of the big stories that we've been following here at Wave News. Just another opportunity for you all tuning in on the live stream or on Wave Now, just to sort of digest and compartmentalize some of the stories we've been working on. As always, appreciate you joining us. I'm Jose Sosaya. We're going to get to the big story with the big stakes and consequences. This was reported, confirmed by our Julia Richardson at JCPS's pretty consequential meeting tonight. And the big piece of news from it is that JCPS's school board has approved a plan to start cutting jobs at the district's central office. Superintendent Brian Yearwood saying the plan would help tackle the $188 million overall dollar budget deficit that the district has to confront. Within minutes of around, earlier this evening, we should say, the board passed the plan around just before 7 o'clock, actually, 5-2 pro and against the plan for this specific central office targeted cut, expected to save JCPS about $30 million. Now, Julie is going to have much more on the impacts with the restructuring and the reorganization, because there's a lot of numbers that we're going to have to sift through, but we'll break that down for you coming up on Wave News at 11. You can rest assured of that. Going to another story where our Logan Perone's been following this all throughout the week, actually. Several more people involved in the Harvest Homecoming shooting of 2024. Recall the events the night it happened inside a Floyd County courtroom today. The victim who was killed in the gunshots, by the gunshots, 18-year-old Bryce Gerlach. But Isaiah Page is the first to go to trial. And over the course of the trial, Wave News has learned that this actually involved several groups fighting each other. The young men testifying today were all different members of different, different associations, as it were. There's names to break down, but 3 co-defendants, 2 co-defendants actually, and a third witness charged as a minor took the stand. All 3 of them described the shots coming from behind them that night around the YMCA and the fountain area where Harvest Homecoming had set up. And while there are inconsistencies between their testimony and the testimony we heard in the courtroom Thursday, the one thing that has been consistent is that they all say no one saw the shooter. The unnamed witness, who testified for hours, but again, unnamed because of the status of their age, did say Isaiah Page was in the upper fountain area, but never saw a gun in Page's hand, or that they saw Page firing a weapon. That last witness of the day was around 4 to 5 p.m. They were still testifying and saying that wasn't the case. So much testimony to have to sift through. But when we do come back into the courtroom on Monday, Logan and the Wave News reporting team will be sure to provide you all with that update. Now looking at a program that the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office wanted to launch today, but this is in the broader context of gun safety, and this was through a gun lock giveaway. The goal is to prevent accidental shootings, they say, involving kids, and improved gun handling safety in general overall. So the locks themselves, we know they're tools to keep any gun from going off. The Sheriff's Office says making them more accessible to everybody is about preventing more tragedies. And this comes after the accidental shooting death, if you remember our reporting of a 14-year-old. As for the locks themselves, you can find these for free at Sheriff's Office car inspection locations, at several other community events that they go to and provide the tools themselves. Fernando Garcia Franciscini talked to Chief Deputy Colonel Steve Healy, encouraging anybody who has a firearm to take advantage of the program if they don't already have one of these tools.
A gun lock, it doesn't judge, it doesn't debate, and it doesn't delay. It simply creates a barrier between a child and a life-altering mistake.
Now, the program is being funded thanks to a partnership with Miss Heartland, Taylor French Henry. So as a supporter there, you could see Taylor French Henry helping fund the giveaway there. In charge of getting the funding, actually. Today, she brought in 730 locks to the sheriff's office. You can find a full list of the locations where you would pick up one of these locks, and we do have much more that you can read in our story on wave3.com. And then talking about the deadly impacts of gun violence in this regard, we now know the name of Louisville's latest homicide victim, 38-year-old Deshaun Brown. He was killed in the California neighborhood after he was shot multiple times Thursday night. We went out to see what people were thinking, and Wave News reporter David Mattingly wanted to share some of those conversations that he did have with the neighbors.
Residents describe a burst of gunfire that left a man dead in his car in this parking lot, and it left the neighborhood on edge. Officers found Deshaun Brown unresponsive and not breathing before he was declared dead at the scene. Residents tell us a man was seen running away wearing a black hoodie and a mask. Everyone we spoke to say they had never experienced this kind of violence here. And now that it has come so close to them, literally feet from their front doors, they are questioning their safety.
I feel like I got to be more attentive of where I am and, stay prayed up. Pray for people that lose family members. And it's sad. It's really sad, but it happens. The world we live in.
Police could be seen going door to door in the neighborhood Friday morning. All residents we spoke to say they were inside when they heard the shots. Many came outside afterward and saw the bloody aftermath. LMPD would not confirm any of our information, only to say that the investigation is active and ongoing. David Mattingly, Wave News.
A reminder, you can always follow all of the reporting to breaking news and even more in-depth pieces that we are working on, and we also will share that straight to your phones when you download the apps and on wave3.com. David talking about investigation that is wide open there. Another one that's captured the nation's attention is still this frantic search for Nancy Guthrie. So when we come back after this break, I want to share the latest about what's going on out in southern Arizona, where the sheriff's office stands, where the FBI does, as we're now marking 2 weeks since Nancy Guthrie disappeared. So we're going to take a quick break to reset and be right back with more of these stories as you're joining us on this live stream of Wave News Extra in the Wave Now studio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us here for Wave News Extra, everybody. Now, we know thousands of leads are still being chased down by not just sheriff's deputies and investigators in the Tucson Metro in southern Arizona, but also by the FBI to find Nancy Guthrie. And as we head into the weekend, it's going to mark 2 weeks since she disappeared. Reporter Jennifer Bjorklund has the latest on what is known and what is not.
Every bit of potential evidence collected within miles of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's home counts as investigators chase down connections on each thing they find. President Trump this morning weighing in on the investigation, which this weekend enters its second week.
It was a local case originally, and they didn't want to let go of it, which is fine. It's up to them. It's really up to the community. But ultimately, when the FBI got involved, I think, progress has been made.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos firing back against claims of tension between his office and the FBI.
There's so many leads. They generated 14,000 in the first 10 days. We generated 18,000. We need each other. And that's really, so there's no ego here as to who's leading it. Right now, it is a state case. We're handling it, but we can't do this by ourselves. We know that. So we need their help.
And while we know at least one pair of gloves has been found and processed, the sheriff says many others also have been found and put into evidence.
So you go and you get them, and then you prioritize. Well, this one's about 10 miles away.
Yeah.
Maybe we can hold off on that. Let's do the one that's 1 or 2 miles away. That kind of thinking.
And what we do know about the person seen on the doorbell camera at Nancy Guthrie's door the morning of her disappearance, male, average build between 5'9" and 5 feet 10 inches tall, wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail Hiker Pack backpack. Now, following those thousands of tips received so far, investigators know just one may lead to a break and some answers. As neighbors continue to hope Nancy Guthrie will see this outpouring of yellow ribbons and flowers, hope she'll finally come home. Jennifer Bjorklund, NBC News.
And another update that has, the connection to the national headlines. Former CNN reporter Don Lemon pleading not guilty to the federal charges he's been accused of in a Minnesota courtroom today. The former anchor, one of 9 people charged with federal crimes connected to a protest at a church in St. Paul last month. The demonstrators claimed that a pastor at that church worked for ICE. Lemon, a freelance journalist now, claims that he was following the protesters inside the church January 18th to cover the demonstration as a reporter. Lemon's arrest has drawn criticism from those within the news media space and also from free speech organizations. But as for Lemon's specific charge today, it was conspiracy against the rights of religious freedom at a place of worship, and then injuring, intimidating, and interfering with the exercise of rights of religious freedom were those specific charges. And that was Lemon leaving the courtroom after having pled not guilty. With an update on a headline that caught our attention not that long ago here in Wave Country of just a pretty startling accusations as police were describing. And if you remember, the crux of what was described as this man accused of kidnapping a woman in Louisville and her kids, forcing her to drive to a bank basically for a robbery. And now he's picked up new charges while still in jail. Armand Langford has been in Metro Corrections since he was arrested last August. But apparently on December 21st, he picked up a new charge of first-degree criminal mischief because jail officials say he threw his inmate tablet around his cell, shattering the screen and destroying that case. Langford was already facing a long list of charges that included kidnapping, robbery, burglary, fleeing police. He's scheduled to have his own competency hearing next month, March 5th. Prosecutors are also making a motion to revoke his probation. Langford was sentenced to 14 years for a string of robberies already in 2021, but he was released on shock probation after having served just a fraction of that, which is also part of the reporting that we have done and, we'll follow. And you can find it on wave3.com about the reaction about having received that shock probation. We do also have a troubleshooters update for you all. Credit to the team and the hard work they're doing. This is Arlena Noakes following up on something she was reporting on starting a few months ago because she talked to customers of Prestige Builders. It's a company, and the customers detail their experience. Again, these local builders, one customer stuck with bills. The builder did not pay before closing. Another was waiting for the closing altogether. And Alina now telling us in this latest reporting that these were not the only ones in these predicaments. She talked to another Prestige Builders customer who says she still hasn't been able to close on her home that she went under contract for in June of 2023. It's been that long since. Now, her name is Camille Kuzman. She and her husband had many of the same complaints as Prestige's other customers that you saw in our reporting, like the Daly and Zeller families. The Kuzmans say there was this huge gap in communication. They often acted as the on-site coordinators with subcontractors. Their initial closing date actually passed months ago. Now they're approaching 3 years since they signed on to do this project, but with more than $100,000 in liens and unpaid bills to subcontractors and vendors, the Kuzmans say they still cannot close on their house.
Had we not stepped in and taken charge and made this happen, we would not be standing here right now inside of this house. We would not be here because the house wouldn't exist.
And the Kuzmans, like the Zellers, who you might remember in our troubleshooters update, they've been living in the house with a certificate of occupancy. When we asked Prestige about the situation, though, owner David Ernst asked for more information to then be able to respond to our inquiries, having done the interviews with the Kuzmans in this case. We provided that, but Wave News has not yet heard back. At this point, the Kuzmans have no idea when they'll be able to actually close on their house. I would encourage you all, Alina, her full report, this troubleshooters update, already up on wave3.com. A reminder, this is the best tool to have to follow all of the reporting we do have in full. And you can get much more of that context and ability to go back and look at the previous reporting we've done. But we'll have this again just to refresh anybody tuning in for this troubleshooters update tonight for Wave News at 11. Much more to discuss here on the Wave News Extra live stream, so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with much more after this break. Appreciate you staying with us here for Wave News Extra on this live stream, wherever you're joining us from now, whether that's on the Wave Now app on your smart TVs or for the folks joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X. Always trying to see where else we can expand on that. And of course, there's the understanding that we appreciate your time. A lot on Wave News' plate on all of our different platforms, because on the main feed, you're watching all the great Winter Olympics highlights, and also on Peacock. Just know that the menu's out there for a lot going on, but we appreciate your time as we sort of look into the stories happening in our neck of the woods, and also our reporters looking into issues that are worth preparing for down the line. In this case, we're going to talk about filing your taxes, not something that many people might say that is their favorite activity, but still very important. So as you're thinking about filing federal state returns for the 2025 tax year, you'll want to pay attention, though, to some changes. Whether you do your taxes yourself or someone else takes care of it for you, there's some updated credits and deductions worth factoring in. It's going to take some time and preparation if you want to have that money be put back in your pocket. So our Wave News anchor, Dawn G, did take time to talk to an expert on federal and state tax codes. It's to help get you as much as you can, or keep the math that you want correct when you submit those returns.
There's a lot of change this year, a lot of good change that can put more money in your pocket.
The money won't make it into your pocket until that important tax information gets added to your tax return, whether you do it yourself or ask for a little help. Mark Stever, Chief Tax Officer for Jackson Hewitt Tax Services, suggests a tax professional can help you avoid errors and maximize the amount of your return.
It's critically important that you capture all of your tax information because accuracy is critically important. Have a plan that works, and get started as soon as possible, because right now is when that stuff starts to come in.
With so many updates impacting credits and deductions, taxpayers may need to do a few extra calculations.
Well, there's a new deduction for people who have tip income, up to $25,000 in tax deductions. If you're an employee that has overtime, qualified employee overtime is up to $12,500. There's a new deduction for automobile loan interest if you bought a car in 25 and beyond, and up to $10,000 deductible. If you're 65 or older on December 31st, there's a deduction up to $6,000 per person.
These are just a few details for a few of the newest deductions. There are more.
You have to have, attention to detail. You watch for those documents. You don't guesstimate. You don't estimate.
And don't wait until the last minute. Start early. A little extra time could literally pay off.
You file early, you get your money early. You file early to lock up your data like you lock up your house or you lock up your car.
If someone steals your identity and files a tax return in your name and steals your refund, the IRS will reject your later filed legitimate return. File first. File early to help avoid trouble of having to then file a claim of fraud with even more paperwork.
If you're going to owe, file early to find out exactly what you're going to owe so that you can put that money aside, because you still do not have to pay until April 15th. Filing your taxes are separate from paying your taxes.
Our thanks to Dawn for that update. Now, just be mindful then for the key documents in this case, getting your W-2s, getting your 1099s. If you haven't, the advice from experts is just to know who to reach out to in the company you work for to get those key documents. Individual tax returns, again, due April 15th. Extensions for some cases can be pushed all the way back to October 15th this year. You can go to irs.gov for specific resources. And a heads up, if this does happen, is tax refunds can be impacted if there's a full or partial government shutdown, but you still could get your refund. It may just be a matter of a delay. All right, folks, it's not just the elite world athletes getting into the Olympic spirit, embodying that. We actually got to meet some New Albany, Floyd County students also getting in on the fun. I want to show you some of this video from Slate Run Elementary School and some pictures. A lot of the kids have been learning about sports like ice hockey you saw there, bobsledding, curling, many of the other events, just in a very friendly PE gym context. You could see there, the district says they want to explore the skills, the teamwork, the dedication it does take to compete on the world stage. You can see they seem very excited in all the countries that it brings together. And who knows, maybe one day one of these will be a star in their own chosen sport and getting to be on the medal podium. Now, we'll look ahead to a particular event in the Olympic slate. If you joined us last night, we got to break down beyond the medals what luge training looks like. Our shout out to John Baker for sharing his story about what it took to try to qualify for the 1988 Calgary Games. And so, luge different from bobsled, but that's the sport we're going to start with first. And some action coming up on Monday, the 16th. Name that is a star in the sport is Frank DeLuca. He is one of Team USA's top bobsled pilots. He was also one of the U.S. flag bearers at the opening ceremony. From his debut to compete on the world stage in Beijing of 22, DeLuca has competed in both 2-man and 4-man events. You could see what it takes there and the different shapes that are involved in these kinds of events. There's your sled vehicle right there. And by the way, DeLuca's preps are for the same races that he's going to compete for next week. So let's hear what he has to say about going on a run.
There's 3 or 4 corners that are definitely going to separate a lot of teams where we're trying to find some speed. So first run, not so great. Second run, made some good adjustments. So still looking for more speed and have to be consistent through 4 runs, but we made some progress today.
I'll have the time to fine tune all of that. We also want to share a bit of a post-race interview from star Chloe Kim, star snowboarder. She was on a quest to go for 3 straight Olympic golds in her event, but she came up just short. The 25-year-old snowboarder from California did win the silver medal in Thursday's half-pipe event for snowboarding. And we know in the gold is South Korea's Tregon overtook her on the final runs. They have a relationship that Chloe does touch on, understanding she didn't quite reach the top prize, but there's something for her to reflect on still very positively.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like people are saying it's so crazy that I got second, but I'm like, I've run second a lot of times. I've gone third a lot. There have been a lot of times I haven't even been on the podium. You know, I've been really fortunate at the Olympics where I've really been able to put down really good runs. But second, third, fourth, fifth, I've gone last. Like, I think that doesn't really matter to me. All I know is that I went out there and did my best, and I fought so hard to get there. And I'm really proud of myself for that. And obviously seeing somebody that you mentored take the win it feels so much more special.
So you saw, oh wow, I lost my train of thought there. You see, just sort of reflecting on her ability to mentor the winner there, Tregon. So looking at all the positive aspects and still giving it her all on the field of play. Now, another huge update that might be part of the highlights you're watching for the primetime and Milan coverage is a disappointment and a shocking upset, really, because U.S. skating star Ilya Malinin, you've probably heard him referred to as the quad god over the run of this game. But unfortunately, he fell twice in an event during a round, and it was his worst professional performance to date. It actually kept him from getting on the medal stand. So instead, the gold, which maybe you'll watch the replay happening as well later in the night, went to Kazakhstan's Mikhail Shidorov. Ilya Malinin not even on the medal stand for this. Another interesting storyline, by the way, that Maxim Naumov and his parents who died in the DC plane crash earlier, but touching tribute to them for his routine. We'll, of course, keep you updated on all the high-flying, high-speed action in Italy through the run of what's left of these Olympic Games. And while most of us are going to be watching from the comfort of home about 5,000 miles away, there is one Louisville woman there at the games in person. She's not there as a fan, but as a volunteer up close and personal with the skaters. Wave News anchor Shannon Cogan met up with the ice skating pro who shares what makes this trip truly unforgettable.
Christine Crow has been lacing up her ice skates for decades.
I've been skating for over 50 years.
Oh my gosh, that's a long time. She teaches ice skating and competes in adult skating events. She already had tickets to the Milan Cortina Olympics and airfare and hotel, but now she's extremely close to the action. She had a 3.5% chance of getting chosen to volunteer in the ice skating competition. This is a big deal to get chosen to do what you're going to do.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I'm excited. It's the Olympics.
She says after completing the online application, giving details about other events where she volunteered, she had a phone interview.
Is this, something you can do? Are you comfortable? Can you bring your skates?
She's going to volunteer for the men's final and ladies short program, positioned right by the entrance to the rink.
My assignment will be to make sure that they are getting on the ice safely, making sure that these boards, that the integrity of the boards have not been compromised.
She says it's a lot of people in a tight space.
You've got media with all their cords and the coaches have a dance and they're right there. So you kind of have to navigate around them because they're in their zone as much as the skaters are.
Are you allowed to say, like, good luck or?
Well, anything? In general, you're not supposed to, but I know these kids So I'll say something to him.
Yeah.
And I know they're coaches.
One of the skaters she knows is Maxim Naumov, who is skating in honor of his parents who died when their plane collided with a Black Hawk helicopter over Washington, D.C. a year ago.
All those kids, they all love and adore each other, and they support one another.
Before Christine left, she gave me a special gift.
I have your first Olympic pin.
Oh, thank you. I love it. It's so cute.
The little Vespa,
Look at that.
right?
Oh my goodness. She's now in Italy and sent us video as she was getting fitted for her Olympics uniform.
Now I've got 3 layers on. And this is perfect.
Making special memories that will last forever.
All right, thanks to Shannon. Very cool to have that hometown connection representing at Milan Cortina. All right, folks, we'll be back with the last round of stories on Wave News Extra after this break. And very much you'll see a theme of getting ready for the holiday that's tomorrow, some more history and celebration, and something to end our work week on, we'll call it that lighter, uplifting note, something to look forward to. All right, we'll be right back after this.
This is 60 Seconds of Black History.
Welcome to 60 Seconds of Black History. Louisville history and music education intersect at 2503 West Muhammad Ali Boulevard. The Beauregard College of Music and Art was the first art school in Louisville for African American children.
Caroline Beauregard founded the college in 1927 to provide music education for African Americans when Jim Crow laws were still in effect. She saw discrepancies in the educational opportunities of African Americans and created the college as a result.
The Beauregard College of Music thrived from 1930 through the 1960s. In the 1990s, the school was in a financial crisis and needed money for building repairs and supplies.
They shut their doors in 2017. In 2025, nearly a century after Beauregard was founded, a grand reopening marks the beginning of a brand new chapter.
And a great chapter there, as we'll cut back here. And our thanks to Marissa Burke and Tawana Andrew. Quick break there, or now this will be our transition, another live check outside of our SkyTrack network of cameras. In your case, folks, hope you're staying nice and warm wherever you might be. We know it could be a lot colder. We went through that in late January, but nice to see that we're ending Friday on a drier, milder note. That's how I would put it. All right, we'll bring you back here into the studio, and a lot to break down for you because there's so many holidays and sort of big days on the calendar. We're going to begin with a celebration at Field Elementary School here in Louisville because students got to celebrate the Lunar New Year today and listen into some of that celebration. Now, if you did not already know, Field is the only elementary school in JCPS with a Chinese language program. For 10 years, they've been hosting the celebration, inviting parents and family to come enjoy the program itself, and some students perform traditional Chinese dances like the dragon, the fan, and the lion dances. We actually did talk to one of their instructors, their teachers, about the significance of these dances.
The dragon dance and the lion dance are very, very traditional Chinese dance. We believe each year, that lion dance and the dragon dance bring good luck, healthy, and get rid of bad luck and prosperity to every community and the home and the family.
Now, if you were following perhaps in the order of the years, this is going to be the year of the horse, which followers say brings energy, prosperity, and a faster pace of life, as horses are wont to do. So transitioning from the Lunar New Year to Valentine's Day, only hours away, one group wanted to make sure everyone they came across in Louisville today felt some love and some affection this weekend. It's part of the city's downtown partnership ambassador team handing out candy to people, some people just simply walking around town. This is the 20th year in a row that these ambassadors have been doing this and just trying to spell, as it says on the jacket there, love and Louisville. We caught up with some of the ambassadors, learning why they do keep coming back to be part of the Valentine celebration every year.
And this truly is just a gift from Louisville Downtown Partnership to extend our hospitality, which is what our ambassadors do on the streets every day, to show our love for people who are walking in downtown, to make sure that you know that you are cared for in this space.
The group plans to hand out more than 1,500 sweet treats overall, and you'll be able to find them again around downtown tomorrow from noon to 2. That'll be the window of time they will be out there. So candy could be one way to share that gift and let someone know that you care. And you might also be food motivated, in which case locally for Valentine's inspirations, Beer Nose Pizza is making their famous heart-shaped pies. Well, we wanted to stop by the location on Market Street downtown where they were taking some of those orders. But all area locations say they're going to make the heart-shaped pizza. It's something they say they've been doing for a while, including Beer Nose president, and discussing a little bit about how this long-standing tradition actually started.
We started it back in the late 90s, and it's become a huge tradition. It's one of our biggest days of the year, and we love it. It's kind of fun.
I'd say it's fun pizza. That should check all the boxes there. The heart-shaped pizzas are medium size. So if you wanted to share, just know that's the size it comes in, but you could pick toppings. They will be available. And I know there are some different pizza chains and restaurants that are sort of offering their own spin on a heart-shaped pizza over the weekend. So maybe something you all have circled in as a way to mark the holiday. Not a bad idea to call some pizza, order that, pick it up, and have the movie ready for date night or just treat yourself night. Not a bad idea. Now, beyond Valentine's Day, it's also time to talk about Mardi Gras. If that's what you're thinking of, Mardi Gras, then preceding Ash Wednesday. But there's a celebration wanting to see the good times roll from New Orleans to here in Derby City. It is the 8th annual Taste of the Highlands Mardi Gras. It's the Fat Tuesday celebration on the 17th from, let's see the times, from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Highlands Community Campus. Dozens of local restaurants along Bardstown Road are going to serve up samples of their dishes, but they also want people to come enjoy the live jazz, Cajun music, signature cocktails. There are some tickets still available, and proceeds for those who come to the event, they benefit the Highlands Community Ministries programs, which includes their food pantry and the Emergency Financial Assistance Fund. So lots of ways to feel like you can have fun and still give back in a meaningful way. A reminder, you see there, as I always tell you, the digital team uploading our stories as quickly as they can. You see our troubleshooters, big report from Arlene and Oaks. Go ahead and dive in, and you can see just the layers of investigative reporting we've done to let you know about the story that is going on right here in our community and how it does impact people trying to, close the loop on building their homes and a dream project that they had anticipated. So I'm going to keep working on that, the troubleshooters, and hope you join us at around 11 o'clock, enjoying the last parts of tonight's Olympic highlight action. We're going to have original reporting from our Julia Richardson. More on that JCPS board vote for those cuts at the central office. Our Meredith Lee working on some of her reporting right now. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harned. Going to be excited to let you know about how to plan ahead for Valentine's Day and the days beyond, because if you can, hold your breath and cross your fingers, you don't have to anymore, that it's going to be a lot nicer, warmer, and milder. So hopefully we all get to enjoy that sooner rather than later. Appreciate your time, folks. I'm Jose Sosadia in the Wave Now studio. We'll see you back here next week. Until then, enjoy the weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. Take care.